Hello, my name is Christine Musser, and it's Monday, March 16th, 2015, and I will be interviewing Susan Beckey and Becky Gill, and they are going to share about their time in Cumberland County, going to school, and also working at the Silver Springs Drive-In. So, take it
Very long
away.
time ago. Well, I guess we started, in 1974, I figured it out. It was an all-nighters. And Mary Hubbard and Robin Hartman were working there. And they're the ones that asked us if we wanted to work an all-nighter. Remember? And that's
What
how
is
we
an
started.
all-nighter?
They would show movies all night. Usually it was the holidays. What was Labor Day, 4th of July, that, it would dusk to dawn movies, basically.
And how many movies would they show?
Oh my. All night.
And it was
back to
mostly B movies, ones that you don't want to, you would never see, the backside of everything. And they asked us if we wanted to work, and that's how we started working up there. I worked there, for 5 years?
I don't know how many years I worked there.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah.
You worked there longer than I did.
I did. Jim Centrell was the manager.
Which remembers more than I do.
Oh yeah, Ogden. He worked for Ogden Foods. They're the ones that they rented the concession stand. The owner of the drive-ins did not. Mr. Jones. I can't remember Mr. Jones's first name. Do you remember?
No.
I don't remember it either. But Ogden Foods ran the concession. He didn't. He didn't own it. And then Mama Singer.
You remember more than I do.
She was the old lady that did the tickets at the ticket booth.
Mm-hmm.
And remember David Denninger worked there, and he was her grandson. And you remember Brenda and Dwayne?
Yes, now I do remember
Yes.
them.
Brenda ran the register, and
Dwayne ran the projector, right?
He did the projector.
Yes, I remember that now.
Yes. Do you remember what song he played all the time during the breaks?
No.
I was thinking of what it was. I knew it the whole way here. I was thinking, gotta remember it. Because he had a cassette tape, and he would rewind it every time. So it was, Afternoon Delight.
Oh,
Gonna
that's
find
right.
my baby, gonna hold her. That one. Over and every time I hear it, I go back to 1974. Every time.
But it was a fun place to work.
Yeah, it was.
It
It was
was
easy.
easy.
Yeah, it was not hard.
We basically just went in all together during the intermissions, and then we sat on our boss's hood of his car,
Watch the movie.
watched the movie, and when somebody come in to get something to eat, we take turns going and waiting on them. So
Yeah.
we basically got paid to sit there
Sit
and
and watch
movies.
movies. Yes.
So what kind of stuff and food did you sell at the concession
Okay,
stand?
we had, well, of course,
Hot dogs,
popcorn, the hamburgers. Okay.
Do it to be really like
Do we have to be totally honest of what went on back then? I mean, they're not there no more. But no, we did hot dogs, hamburgers. Remember the pork, pulled pork, French fries.
We were made to oversalt the popcorn, so we'd sell more sodas.
And we had the soda jerks, and we had the candy. But now I understand why the pricing is high, because they do their inventory by the cups. Remember, that's how he took inventory. He was always
Right.
over there counting the cups, and Jim explained to me that's why prices are so high at movie theaters, is because of the way they do inventory. And I never could quite understand that, but
Do you remember what the prices were? What were some of
oh,
them?
I don't even
I couldn't even
remember.
remember. Yeah,
I don't know.
we had
I
a
know
candy
back
counter. We had hot dogs. We had hamburgers.
at the end of the night, we threw the popcorn went into a garbage pail with a big plastic liner. So the next night it went back in the popcorn machine. All right. The hamburgers at the end of the night got
Put in
taken
a
apart,
sauce.
and the sauce that was left over from the pulled pork, they went in there. But you know what? I talked to people that said, what was that sauce they put on those hamburgers at the drive? It was wonderful. And I would say, if you only knew. I mean, it wasn't bad food. It was just, they didn't waste
We had
anything.
deep fried stuff too. I remember.
Yeah, we had
French
the
fries.
egg rolls. We had egg rolls, French fries. Remember, the boys were the only ones allowed to take the hot grease out
Right.
in the back in those drums. And what was in the drums? Do you remember?
No.
You lifted up the lids
She's
and
got
there'd
better
be
memory than me.
maggots.
Oh, no.
Pour the hot grease in there and they would
Oh.
pop and stuff. So, yeah. Oh, I worked there for 5 years. I had Bonnie, my brother and sister both went up there and worked for a couple of years too.
Now,
after.
should we be honest with what really went on at the
Yeah.
all-nighters?
Oh my God.
No.
So where was the drive-in located?
It was on the Carlisle Pike where Coles is
That's
at.
right, yeah.
You know, the exit from the drive-ins is still there. That road that you come out of Coles at the red light alongside ABC Bowling Alley, that was the exit from the drive-in. So that's still there. That's the only piece of it that's left. But Coles is sitting there where it was. I mean, it's a thing of the past. There's not many left.
What was going to the movies, the drive-ins, like on a Saturday night when Silver Springs races were?
Oh.
Well,
it was-
I also went to the races. You could
Yeah.
see the movies from the races.
If you were sitting on the back stretch, you can
yeah.
watch the movie. But working there on a Friday night, it was loud. And I mean, you had to put up your window. You know, the thing, this was before the radio. So you had the speakers.
You had the
that you-
speakers and not the radio.
Right. And you had to wind your window up because you couldn't hear. Because those speakers were so old that even turned up, you really, because it was loud. It was loud on a Friday night and dusty.
And complaints?
No. No.
People just
Nobody
basically
complained.
knew.
Yeah. Back in those days, it's like, okay, it's Friday night, the races are on, but I'm going to go to the drive-ins and not here. And, you know, people didn't complain because they knew what to expect.
Okay, so that was before the races were actually Saturday night at Silver Spring.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. I got
Oh,
this.
okay, so
No,
it
they
was-
are Saturday night.
They were.
I'm
okay.
getting them. Now, see, I'm messing up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah.
You're remembering more than I do.
Oh, but it was fun. It's one of those. It's a part of your life that you know. It's your first job, and Jim. I liked Jim a lot. That toothless, gray-haired, chain
he was
smoking.
fun. Yeah, he was fun
you
to
know,
work for.
and he would take us to Elby's after work some
Yes, we
nights.
used to go to Elby's afterwards.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
but,
he did. He didn't have to do that.
it was-
But Robin and Mary didn't stay long. We started working there and they left.
Was it 7 days a week we had them?
6.
6, because
Well,
I remember that when
we
the movies
worked-
first came out.
They were open 7 nights, but we only worked 6, and then we had one night off.
Well, I remember getting excited when we got a new movie,
Yeah.
and we'd watch it. And then the second night, you watch it again, and about the fourth night, you're like, oh,
God,
yeah.
is this over
Can't
yet?
wait for
And
it
then-
to change
and
again.
They would,
'cause you
they
get
would
tired
have
watching
certain
the
ones,
same.
remember, that would last for weeks and weeks and weeks. They would run them over and over and over again. It's like, oh my God.
What were some of the headline movies?
I'm trying to think. Now that part.
Um,
Herbie the Love Bug, because we had Herbie the Love Bug there, the car. I remember him. I remember that one.
oh boy,
Yeah, really.
drawing a blank. That's going back.
Yeah, every now and again I'll see one and I'll remember that we had that at the drive-ins.
Yes.
But that's the only way I
Was
can remember.
Jaws one of them?
No. It's at the tip of my tongue. This one. It was like a Western comedy.
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing
Yes,
Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, The Rescuers.
Okay.
The cartoon, the Disney cartoon, R-E-S-C-U-E, Rescuers. Yeah, what's the other one? There was a dance to it, and I learned the dance because we had it Saturday night.
The Hustle?
Yeah. Well, I learned the.
Oh,
Oh,
you mean,
watching
okay.
it was Saturday
Night
Fever. Yeah, we had
With John
that there.
Travolta.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I learned how to do the hustle by watching that because we had it for weeks and
So
weeks.
he's
and
watching
weeks.
it. Yeah.
But yeah, I worked there for 5 years because Jim had gotten emphysema really bad, and he
You worked
passed
there
away.
longer than I did.
I was working at the depot, and when I started working at the depot, I still worked there at the drive-ins. And when Jim died, though, they got a new manager, Rick. I don't remember his last name. But he didn't want to listen to anything I had to say because, I'm just like this 20-year-old kid. I ain't listening to you. Don't plug that in because you're going to pop a fuse. Well, imagine that. I got him started. I got him set. And I said, I have a full-time job. I'm done. And my brother and sister had already left by then, too. So, but it wasn't long after that it became a thing of the past anyway. So.
Well, what about another landmark, which was the roller rink.
We both went to that,
Yes, we
too.
did. That
Rainbow
was
Roller
Friday night.
That was Friday nights.
And
Yes.
where was Rainbow located?
It was where it's on the Carlisle Pike. It was where it's that car.
big building.
CarMax is there now.
Now it would,
Yeah,
it
it
would
was-
block and CarMax if it were
Yeah.
along the Carlisle Pike.
Yeah, went there every Friday night.
They used to have all nighters of those too.
Yeah. When we first started going, it was organ music, and then they changed over to more of a pop with the colored
More like
balls
a-
and stuff. Poison played there. We skated.
I wasn't living around here then. I don't
You
think.
might not. I don't know. It would no. They played there a couple. Yeah, you know what? I think
lived
you're
in New
already
York.
married.
Yeah.
I think you're already up in New York when that happened, because they played there a couple of times, and I
Wish I
skated with
could have
them.
seen that.
But you didn't know back in those days
Yeah.
that they were going to be famous. You know, I went. I worked with a girl who went to school with him, with Brett Michaels, and she said he's nice. Bless you. So, yeah, that's good memories.
Yeah.
Sherry Hogan, you, me, Robin, Mary,
That was a bunch of
Debbie.
people.
We had
And
Paul
that's
and
Robin and
Michelle's one.
Mary.
Robin Hartman and Mary Hubbard. Robin ended up being my sister-in-law. She married my foster brother Paul.
Yeah, a whole bunch of us used to go there.
Mary had her pickup, and we used to all
Pile
pile
in
in
the
that
back.
pickup and go, because our parents they didn't want to drop
Back
us off.
then they weren't
Yeah,
too-
they were tired. So if you could find a ride, go for it. And then, so it was by Mary and Robin are older, so they got their license first before we did. So yeah, we relied on them a lot, even to go to school, because it was so far to go. Because we lived more towards Enola than we did anywhere else. And
Right.
it was a long
And where did you go to school at?
Cumberland Valley Educational Park.
Okay.
I don't know if it was called that.
New
then.
power.
And what about Cumberland Valley?
Big school.
What are some things you remember?
The Moo Power being painted on the dome.
And what was
The
that?
Hostown boys said Moo Power. Moo Power was, I think, our year, 77. I think that our class is the one that came up with the Moo Power, because we're Cumberland Valley Eagles. Cumberland Valley was an old farm school. So
Used to be cows in the back
we
of it.
still had cow
Yeah.
pastures on both sides. We had the horse farm Hemps across the street, across Carlisle Pike. And it was one of the Hostown boys that actually painted the Moo Power with a statue of the cow on the dome. And they got in trouble for it. We wanted to keep it. I remember that. But they got in trouble for it and stuff. So, oh wow, hey. But we came up with the Moo Power. I like that. We embraced the cow. That's what we did.
So what events do you remember of? Where did you go to elementary school and junior high and?
Well, you.
I came into the Cumberland Valley
Yeah.
School District in 6th grade. I
Right.
went to Hampton and then Good Hope and then
Yeah.
Cumberland Valley.
So I went to Shaw Elementary, and then I had to go to Hampton for 6th grade, and then Good Hope, and that's when we met, was in Good Hope. And there was a lot of schools to go through. Then up to
Before we could drive, we used to walk to each other's houses.
yeah. 81 was being built,
Oh, yes.
and we used to meet underneath the 81 bridge, have a cigarette, eat a Jolly Rancher watermelon
We used to
candy.
ride our
and then-
10 speeds up and down 81 when it
Oh,
was being
yeah.
built.
Yeah. That was a shortcut, though.
Yeah.
I mean, to walk from my house to your house, 81 was nice because it was quick then, and we could just right through. Neither one of us smoke anymore, though. We both quit.
Yes.
So what were some of the things? What about dances or Halloween trick or treat nights? Or,
Well, the one prom, I never had a boyfriend in school, but one
neither.
prom, we went as friends.
I went with Dale, your cousin.
Dale's my cousin, Dale Bates. He's my cousin.
Yeah.
We were friends in school.
Yeah.
And they was dated as friends. Nobody.
Yeah.
And who did I?
He
I
was
went-
blonde and glasses. I can't remember his
He
name.
was just a friend.
Yeah. You went with him, and me and
Yeah.
Dale weren't going to go, but we got badgered
We
into
just
it.
got a group
So,
of us went
yeah.
as friends. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. And in my senior year, I went with a lower classman. I went with David Denninger. We were friends. He worked at the drive-ins. His grandmother, Mom Esslinger, was the one that took the tickets. And he wanted to go to the prom, and I was a senior. And Brenda at the drive-in said, Becky, he wants to take you to the prom so he can go. And I'm like, Brenda, I don't really want to go. I'd rather work and blah, blah. She goes, oh, come on, take him, take him. I'm like, all right. Well, everybody kept coming up to me and going, who's that guy you're with? Well, he's a sophomore in our school. You know, because, you know, they were sometimes could be a little snooty at Cumberland Valley.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but he looked good. He wore baby blue tux and he had long hair. Fine with me. I like long hair. I grew up with it, so.
What were the styles you grew up with?
Oh my God, he
And
wore.
about what years was this?
Okay, 70s.
Oh, we always wore our hair parted down the middle,
Straight. Or by the time we got in high school, we had a sausage curl.
A lot of people were ironing their hair back then to make
Yeah.
it straighter. We didn't have straighteners, so we ironed our hair.
Yeah. Pink eyeshadow, blue eyeshadow with pink highlights and mascara. Yes.
That glops back then.
Yes.
Floppy.
I wore short hair. I didn't wear long hair in
I had long hair.
school. Yeah, you had the long hair. I had the shorter hair.
I think the styles was the hip huggers and the belly shirts were the big deal then.
Yeah,
The
3
bell
snap.
bottoms. Yeah.
The elephant bells, platform shoes.
Yes, platform shoes.
Yeah, and then later on in high school, it went extreme, high waisted.
Oh, and gaucho pants and vests were really
yeah,
big too.
yeah. And well, your mom and dad for helping do the basement when it flooded that one time. They got me for Christmas the skirt and the vest and the jacket. I thought I was something else in that outfit. But they got me that for Christmas one year. That was nice. I always remember that. But
So the Agnes flood in 72, did that affect you, or how did that affect either of you?
I wasn't, it didn't affect us personally, but my dad and I went around helping people along the creek that were affected clean up their
And which
stuff.
creek was that?
If I pronounce it right, Conaguena.
gotta go with it, yeah.
Conaguena.
One of my older foster brothers was getting married at that time, and he and his future wife were living in the East Shore. My little sister Bonnie was a flower girl, and they had a curfew. The only bridge you could cross over was the South Bridge, and there was a curfew. You had to be done by 8 o'clock at night. It was shut down, and you couldn't come back to the West Shore. So for rehearsal, I had to go along, and my dad dropped us off because we had to spend the night because we couldn't get back across. They were having an evening wedding, so we couldn't get back across the river. But my father came and picked us up Saturday morning from my old foster brother's place and took us home. And then we ended up not even going to the wedding because it just wasn't possible. We couldn't, there was nowhere to stay. You know, we had to get home. So that's what I remember about the 77th, or the 72 flood. And my cousins, my mom's from Wilkes-Barre, that's where my cousins live. And they were doing, my great uncle's house was picked up and moved down the street. And my cousin was up there doing cleanup, and he found money, and he screamed, money, and everybody came, and he should just kept his mouth shut. But yeah, those are my memories. I remember going down Good Hope Mill Road with my dad, and we watched the side of the hill wash out into the water. That's all I can
We had
remember.
some basement water. Now I think about it, I remember my bedroom got flooded.
I think
'Cause
that's
the
when I was
sump
helping.
pump broke.
Yeah, and it came up through the.
Willie the mouse almost I had a pet mouse,
Mouse,
and we
Willie.
just got it to in time before it sunk into
That was
the.
a real pet mouse?
It was a real
Yeah,
pet
he
mouse.
was cool. Willie was cool. His cage was always open.
He had freedom of my room.
Yeah, and you'd go, and he'd slide down the pole, across the floor, up onto
Oh,
her. He'd get the seed out of her mouth. He was the coolest thing. And then I remember you came home and Willie wasn't breathing, and you took a straw and gave him mouth to snout, and he lived for a couple of days.
Well, you
before
know
he
how I
finally-
got that mouse? I can't remember who it was. Somebody's mouse had babies at school, and they were selling them. And $1 or something. I bought one, and I didn't want to tell my mom. I knew she. So for the longest time, I was keeping it in a shoebox with holes in my. And finally, I fessed up and told mom, and I got a cage. I was allowed to keep it, and
He was trained.
he
a
was.
good
He was.
mouse.
Yeah.
He was an intelligent
Daisy the
mouse.
dog
Oh,
even got-
Daisy, yeah. Oh, I remember Daisy.
So, Good Hope,
Uh.
intermediate school,
Yeah.
Oh my.
the commons, the jukebox,
Yes.
the dances.
Yes. I remember the dances. I went to, I had a pair of red hot
I
pants
think I never
on.
went to one.
Mom, you know, we weren't allowed to do a lot because we had a lot of kids. And I was allowed to.
Your mother took in foster children.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Debbie was living with us at this time. And we hounded her, and she finally relented to let us stay after school. I thought I was something. I had a pair of high-waisted red hot pants on with a black bubble shirt and pumps. And didn't my zipper bust in the middle of the day. And it's like, golly. So I found some pins and got it pinned, but that's how I walk around all day with your arm down along your side, dancing. Hell, dancing arm down. Yeah, went to one dance. I remember Carl Johnson. He was going around the school stabbing everybody with pins. He got me a couple of times. I went home from school one day and Mom said, "Oh, somebody from Good Hope is coming to live with us." And I said, "Oh, who?" She said, "Carl Johnson." I'm like, "Mom, no. Call him up and tell them no." But he did. He lived with us for about a year. That was about it. And then he went back to his family. But it was 7th and 8th grade then. There was no 6th grade at
No,
Good
it
Hope
was
Mill.
just 7th and 8th.
Yeah, my mom drove the school bus there. So, but the...
Remember there was a tunnel when we went up the gym.
Oh,
outside
for the gym tunnel. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah,
That,
the tunnel under
all
the
right.
ground from the
We
gym.
had the gym uniforms. How about them? They were one piece red
Yes.
gym, and they snapped up the front. And you had to get them like 10 sizes too big so you can wear them from 7th grade all the way up to
Till we
your
finally,
senior year.
Oh, it was great when we
Well,
had shorts and
Then
a pullover.
they came the
Uh-huh.
striped t-shirt and the shorts. I never got that. I kept my one piece.
Oh no, I got shorts.
And you used to have to roll the legs up.
Mhm.
Well, when we were Good Hope, we were going out to play soccer. It was me and Debbie and Jeanette. I can see her face. I can't think of her name. But we yanked them down because they were so far. And the crotch was at our knees. And we're running around playing soccer. It looked like we only had legs this long. I can remember that. That was fun.
Yeah,
and
they were embarrassing.
we had, they were not flattering. We had the staggered lunches. That was when I first encountered the staggered lunch.
And what do you remember about the lunches?
I bagged it. We couldn't afford to. My grandmother would send us a quarter for our birthdays, and that's when we bought lunch at school. And but I brown bagged it. I know Mary Hubbard. I remember when we got to high school, that woman. Oh my gosh, she ate 2 cheeseburgers, 2
Oh, she was so skinny.
eclairs, and she never every day. And it's like, how can you eat all that? And she was always so thin, and she still is. She's not real heavy. It's like, oh my word. Yeah, I just look at something like that, and it's like, just pasted on me.
Well, what do you remember about the teachers from Good Hope?
I don't remember too many teachers. Good Hope.
I remember,
Mr. Mauser or
yes, I remember Mr. Mauser. He was a math teacher, wasn't he? I had him for math, and I was doing algebra, and I got it. I was fine with 8th grade algebra. He made me take college prep. I got up to 9th grade, and I looked at that, and I'm like, I was lost. I didn't get it.
I can't remember names. I remember we had a really cool music teacher. All she did was sing folk songs and play guitar.
I don't remember
And
the
I don't
music.
remember her name.
I can't remember
She
her.
had long hair.
I can't remember. I know we had Senora Tapas, or is that her name? She was a Spanish teacher.
We had sewing.
Didn't know that.
Oh, I hated sewing.
Yeah, I made.
Needle kept breaking. I think to
Oh,
this day
yeah,
I
we
blame
had
that's
that.
why I don't like sewing.
No,
was
we
that.
had that, but we had cooking too. And I remember, I can't remember who was in my group, but we thought we were going to be funny, and we were going to do this duck recipe with red wine. We got the red wine. They put the tape on the bottle so we could measure it out, and then she retaped it. But I was surprised. We were only in junior high, and it called for red wine, and that's what we got. The duck tasted like crap, but We got I was surprised, the red wine.
Back then, it was
Yeah.
different than today, though.
Yeah, a lot different.
A lot different.
Yeah.
So then up into high school, ninth grade up to,
The ninth grade building, we were separated from the rest of the school.
But connected with a tunnel, another
Yeah.
tunnel.
It's like, I don't want to go over there. It's too scary. And it's like, oh, it was nothing when she,
Yeah.
Now it's like I walked in there. My daughter had when she was in high school, she had to go up there for her sectionals. And I was just like, I started wandering the halls because I had to find her. She was in some room and I couldn't find her. I ended up in the gym. I said, oh, I know where I'm at. That's the only place I recognized was the gym. It's like, I don't know how I totally
I used to
missed
hang
them.
out in Mr. Chapman's office,
Yes,
like
we
just
did.
chit-chatting. He always had an open door, you know.
Remember we got him that Avon for Christmas one year, and he swears that's what got him his fiance, or I guess his
Kept
wife.
bugging. I was a real tomboy back then. I kept
Yeah.
bugging him. I wanted to be on the football team. Because no, girls are not allowed to be on the football
We
team.
used to skip classes and go sit in his office and
Office.
staple papers and stuff. And then he had intramurals. Remember we did badminton?
Yes.
We were on court one for forever.
I was
Nobody could beat us.
undefeated in gym class in badminton because I played with my father in the backyard every night. And then Coach Humes took me on after school one night. Of course, he beat me, but
Yeah, but him and his partner, the other coach, I can't think of his name. My memory's starting. But we did intramurals badminton. We were on. Nobody
Yeah,
could
no-
beat us, so they came on, and I can't remember if they beat us actually or not. I can't remember.
because I
And then-
used to play in my backyard a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Then we had the swimming pool at the high school.
Ugh, didn't like swimming. Matter of fact, I had vanity issues even back then where we'd get our hair wet and I'd have to have it blow dry. And I'd Mr. Bricker's sociology class right after swimming. And I was always late. And I said to him, I'm blow drying my hair. I am not coming in class with wet hair. And he kind of just accepted it after a while that this is the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
I'd wander in late all the time. And
Those swimming suits left. Oh, I used to hate those.
oh, they weren't
swimming
very nice either.
suits. They were so see-through when they were wet.
Yes.
And I remember we were doing diving class because I was beyond their swimming and stuff because that's all we did when I was growing up is we went to Briner Pool and and
That's
swam.
right. I remember that. I used to go that with you
Yeah.
a couple times.
And so I was beyond all that, so we were doing diving. Well, I had gone out I was asked to come out for the dive team, but there was a lot of things I didn't like to do. So I ended up just going and playing around with them, but I didn't really join the team. And the coach, what's his name? He was cute. The swim coach.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, he had that curly
Yeah.
hair. Anyhow, he's kind of a perv. I don't know if I can say that, but he was. And he made me come up because we had to demonstrate the back
No, that would have
dive.
been our driving instructor.
Yeah, we won't go there. So, and then he's holding me. I'm wet. My suit is see-through. It's co-ed swimming. And he's holding my hips. I'm doing a back bend. And I'm just thinking in my head, drop me. Because I know everything out here was going through the suit. And he's just holding me like this. And I'm like, oh, please just drop me. And he finally did let me go. That was just so embarrassing. But, you couldn't get away with that now. Not at all. But, yeah, not those swimsuits. Because we used to walk around like that.
Yeah, they were embarrassing, those swimsuits.
Yes, they were. But I remember that much. But school was fun. It wasn't bad. It was not a bad school. You had your cliques.
Oh,
But
yeah,
that's
she was
everywhere.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
it was no big deal.
what were the study halls like?
They weren't bad. I mean, sometimes if you got in trouble, you had to go to quiet study. And you had no privileges. You had to just go to quiet study.
I mostly was in the talking ones.
Yeah, talking study. You can go to the IMC, which that's what they still call it. And,
We make little paper footballs and
yeah.
do that.
We did that tree that one year. You were doing a tree for your mom or your dad or somebody's birthday, and we would color in the leaves, and that took forever. But yeah, the talking studies were in the cafeterias, weren't they? Yeah, because if you had an 8th period study hall, sometimes you could skip out a little early because we didn't have parking lot monitors back then. You just couldn't get caught. And now they have monitors. They have study hall monitors, and
Yeah.
it's
The kids don't get away with as much as we used to.
no. We did. We had a lot of freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what are some other things that you remember that you did living in the county? You know, the summers, what did you do during the
We
summers?
went to Colonel Denning State Park camping because with a big family, that's all we could do. And then when I met Sue,
Oh, we used to take you camping.
yeah, he used to take me camping along down to the shore. We used to go to the shore a lot.
No, weekly
We
basis.
went to Beaver. Remember we went to that Beaver Falls?
We went to a bunch of different
I know.
places. We went to Pine Grove. We went all
Oh,
over.
yeah.
Went to the Poconos. I don't think you went with
No,
me,
I didn't go
but-
to that one. We went to the. We used
No.
to go to the shore, and we went to Beaver Falls.
On a weekly basis, my routine was I went roller skating at Rainbow on Friday night and to Silver Springs Speedway on Saturday nights.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I was no longer working at the drive-ins. I was
Yeah.
working at Kentucky Fried Chicken up the
That's
road.
right. Yeah.
So I would go to Rainbow Friday nights after work and up to the Speedway to the races on Saturday.
Yeah, and I didn't get into the racing until much
Oh,
later.
yeah.
After
I
you
was
did,
really into
yeah.
the racing.
Yeah, I was much later. And gosh, that was. Oh my. It was before I started dating Brad, even. So it was back in the 80s, is when I started going. The mid 80s to Silver Springs.
What about 3 Mile Island?
I wasn't living here then.
No,
I was living in New
was
York.
I was working at the New Cumberland Army Depot is what it was called back then. And we had windows open. I was outside taking inventory of empty containers.
The Army Depot, New Cumberland Army Depot was.
We're less than 10 miles. Yeah, I have a goiter. They won't say that my goiter is because of that. But there's a lot of people on the depot that have goiters or thyroid issues now. But there's not enough to really say. But I do have a goiter. It's
Well,
nice and big.
Well, I was living in Corning, New York,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember if things would have got serious, I was making plans for my parents to start heading our direction.
My dad made us go up to Wilkes-Barre.
It was scary, yeah.
Yeah, I had to take off 3 days of work, which were unexcused. And because my dad wouldn't let us come home. We had to stay up there. My grandmother, who was my mother's mother, she had a skin cancer on her nose that she had been fighting for years and years and years. And my dad had left some important papers at the house. So he wanted to come back down to Harrisburg to get the papers. And my grandmother, who really didn't particularly care for my father, said, Harry, I'm going to ride along with you. So she did. Well, when she got back, her skin cancer started to clear up a little bit. Now, mind you, it wasn't because of the medication that she was putting on it. And she was telling all her friends, I was in Harrisburg and look how nice my nose looks. Yeah, she was blaming TMI. She was saying the radiation in the
no.
air and TMI was making her nose heal. It's like, yeah, Grandma, it doesn't work that way, but whatever. But yeah, that was kind of scary though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, my dad was around a lot of radiation when he was in the Navy, so that's why we all had to leave. We weren't allowed to stay in the area because he didn't want us exposed like he was. So, which I can understand.
How would you say the atmosphere was like during that time? You know, the community and the different. You remember anything about the media?
I was still living at home at that time too, and I really don't remember. Because when we got back, I just picked up and just lived a normal life. I did, because they said it was all A-okay.
Mhm.
So, but I don't remember too much on the media. Because I wasn't too worried. I was young. I'm going out. I'm going to dancing at Julie's and going out on dates and stuff. So I don't think I was quite 21 though yet. So, but I could get into a lot of places.
Mhm.
Not that I drank, because I don't like the taste of it, but just go dancing.
And there was some disco places or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna Name a couple of those.
Well,
that-
I know the Metron in Harrisburg, because the only reason I know that is because at the drive-ins, the owners lived in Mount Holly Springs when they were up here for the summer. Any other time they lived in Texas somewhere. Well, their son must have gotten into some trouble because he had to come up for the summer. Well, in the back of the property at the drive-ins was a pavilion that they didn't use any longer. So he wanted to turn that into a disco. So one night, he took me with him, and we went to a whole bunch of discotheques. Now, mind you, I'm only like 19 at this point, and I still have my, those red smocks that we had to wear at the drive-ins. Do you remember that? That's what I had on. And he was taking me into all these disco places just to look. We weren't even getting I don't know what he did to get me in there. But because I know I didn't look like I was 21, but with the Metron was the one
We didn't
place.
have picture IDs.
No.
Our license were just our information.
Right. But I don't know. He got me into all of them, but the Metron was the one. I remember that one the most, is the Metron. Because I used to just go to the Wonder Why, which is now Visaggio's.
Well, I remember one time in high school getting into Creekview, which burnt down
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. I never did go in there.
once.
But,
with
yeah.
Donna Grady.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, there wasn't too many places. Well, my mom and dad would go up to Wilkes-Barre. Remember, we would have parties at my house.
Yes.
And some of the kids from
This is the
Cumberland Valley would run down over the border and pick up some beer and head up to my place for the weekend. And what's funny is my oldest foster brother was a Hampton Township police officer, and he lived on the property in a mobile home. So we had to come up with some wild lies sometimes to explain why everybody was there. So yeah, we used to have some parties. They never got out of hand,
No.
but they just were, something
Big.
we did. Yeah, people would show up that never even associated with me at school.
In school, you can invite 10 people, and it turned into 100, just like
Yeah.
that. Just
And they're
word.
coming down the lane, and I'm like, Ed Baker, and I'm like, you don't even talk to me. Why are you here? So yeah, party at the gills. So yeah, that was something.
And there was one of the night spots over by where the Automobile-A-Rama was, over off of 15.
Oh, that was an under 21 club
Oh, okay.
for a
I'm not familiar
while.
with
Yeah, I think this was after you.
Yeah, see, I missed any.
When you went to New York,
the whole 80s, I lived in Corning, New York.
Yeah.
So anything that happened in the 80s, I would not know.
Yeah, the end of the 70s.
And when I would come home to visit, I'd go to the Speedway. So
Yeah. But I can't remember what that was called.
Something Apple, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
The
what I
green
was
apple?
thinking. It was something Apple. And I can't remember what it was called. The something Apple.
Okay.
I can't remember, but I know Apple was in the name of it. That was an under 21 club, which came a little too late because I think I was right around 21 when that opened up. So, but I went there. I took a couple of younger friends there. So that was all right.
Let's back up a little bit here and go back into the 70s
Mhm.
and about the Willow Park,
Oh,
or
Yeah.
even into the 80s. I guess Willow Mill was
Willow Park
Willow Mill Park.
with having the foster kids. That
And
was
Willow Mill
there.
Park, where is it? And
Willow
what
Mill
do you-
Park was off of, let's see, it was
boy.
114 is now Willow Mill. What was that called? It was Willow Mill Road, I think, off of Wartsville Road. And then it just went back in there. I mean, it was back along the creek there.
yeah, I remember going to it. I
Yeah.
remember taking baton lessons and having to do recitals on a stage there.
Mm-hmm. There was a stage,
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember having to do that, but how to
Yeah.
get there.
Well, that was there ever since I was little.
Mhm.
So,
My
then-
grandmother used to take us.
yeah, the foster kids with the Cumberland County Children and Youth, they used to have their annual picnic there. So we, of course, would go and we rode for free.
Mhm.
That was a big thing.
I went to Williams Grove more, I think, than
Yeah, see,
than-
I never
Willow Mill.
went to Williams Grove.
Yeah, well, Williams Grove. Yeah, talk a little bit about Williams Grove. So. Do you
Well, I mean,
remember?
we
What
didn't
do you
go there.
remember?
We didn't go like a lot,
Mhm.
but it would be like cousins, aunts, and we'd all go there for a picnic and ride the rides. And then I also, because twirling, we did recitals on the
Okay.
stage there too.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And Williams Grove, Willow Mill was in Silver Springs Township,
Mm-hmm.
and
Williams Grove. I guess that's
Williams
in
Grove
there.
is in Monroe.
Is that what it is, Monroe? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have the Speedway there
Mhm.
also. I went there a couple. I didn't go to Williams Grove Speedway a lot.
Oh, I go there now since Silver Springs
Yeah,
closed.
right.
I lived at Silver Springs.
Yeah.
Was like a weekly.
Oh yeah, you never missed
Sat at
it.
the same place, had the
Mhm.
same people around you every
Mhm.
week. You got to know each other.
Mhm.
I even still this day, there was two brothers, and they're married and their wives, and they didn't go to the races, but they knew they hung out with me and my friend.
Mhm.
And till this day, I get a text message from one of them. They have my phone number. How you doing? And you come to the races at the Grove, and we even my boyfriend now we sit with them if we know they're there. It's kind of like you became every week, you kind of knew each other.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, you get to know everybody. Because me and Brad even ended up on a couple pit crews
yeah, I know.
down in the pit. Yeah, I know you know. And then we did too. So yeah, John Provenza and Stoner. Provenza did the limited late. Is that
Yeah,
what they were?
late models.
Late models, and then John Stoner did the sportsmen.
Sportsmen's, yep.
So, and then my husband Brad got into it, but we raced at Lincoln.
There's some of our fellow classmates that race.
Yeah,
sportsmen.
Dave Cowman, Jim Shuttlesworth. I still see Jim every now and again. He was working for the West Shore School District. I think he still is. I don't think he retired
He's a
yet.
crew chief for a sprint car now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There's Dave Burkheimer. Yeah, there's a couple
a lot of them.
that we went to school with. Them.
Dave Cowman was really good though. So was
He's
Jim
not doing it anymore,
Shuttlesworth.
yeah.
Yeah, they were two
Yeah.
that went
Jim's
to our
son's
school.
doing it now.
Yeah, they were really good. They were good.
Yeah.
They won a lot.
A little while ago, we were talking about fashion,
Hmm.
and one of the things, there was Corvettes and Kresge's, and
Yes,
and of course there was, I think Kmart was then, and then I
Well,
think Fashion Bug or some other.
Fashion
Yeah,
Bug,
Fashion
Stewart's, and Stewart's because you like to shop in Stewart's a lot. I remember that. But Kresge's turned into Kmart.
Oh.
That's where Kmart came from. Is Kresge's. Yeah, every Thursday, the Weiss Market is where the Salvation Army is now on Trindle Road. That was the Weiss store. We went there for groceries, and then we would go down. My mom would go into Corvettes and Kresge's. Every now and again, us kids were allowed to go along, and we would sit at the counter, the soda counter at Kresge's, and my dad would buy us a fountain Coke, and there was gum underneath the counter, and we would scrape it off because we just thought that was free gum,
Oh no.
Don't eat that. Yeah, but yeah, we did.
Yeah, back then we didn't have as much of a selection of stores to shop in for clothes like they do now.
No.
Matter of fact, I grew up getting hand-me-downs
Yeah, me too.
all my life. I had two cousins that they were a little bit older than me. One was a lot skinnier, tall and skinny. One was shorter and chubbier, and I was in between, so I kind of didn't have
Cindy and
Carrie.
Carrie.
I didn't really have any clothes that were given to me, but I loved it though. Every time I got a bag of clothes from
Yeah.
them, it was like Christmas and going through it.
Yeah.
So I can remember when my first job was the drive-ins. I took my first paycheck and I went to Kmart and I laid away a bunch of clothes.
Store-bought
And
clothes.
still this day, I think I have a problem.
Ah.
I still like to buy.
I
I've
do
calmed
too.
down
I
a lot
could
lately
too.
though. But I was
Yeah.
like, new clothes.
I know. My mom used to get the chicken feed bags from the egg lady, Mrs. Klein, who lived on Good Hope Mill Road. It's no longer there. And she would make me dresses. But I wore a different dress every day to school. My brothers had to wear the same outfit for 2 days. And then that would get washed, and then they would change into their play clothes when they would get home from school. I didn't have play clothes. And if I wore, because we didn't wear slacks, we wore dresses. We were allowed to wear pants halfway through 6th grade at Hampton, and we weren't allowed to wear jeans. We had to wear slacks. So, yeah, I remember that. And then we were allowed to wear jeans in 7th grade. But, yeah, I didn't have pants.
Yeah, I remember I
Or
laid
shorts
laid
or
away a
nothing.
bunch of gaucho outfits
Yeah.
and vests. I thought,
and my cousins gave me clothes. I wasn't too much into buying because I was bigger. So it was harder to buy clothes for me. I wasn't.
I remember
no.
the jumpsuits were in style. Nice with the
Fashion.
zipper.
Remember?
The
Wait, Sizzlers. Do you remember the Sizzlers? I wore them when we were in junior high at
Sizzlers.
Good Hope.
I
They were
remember
the
I wore
short dresses with the matching panties that you wore over your panties. I had 2 of those. I was allowed to wear them to school. My dad loved my legs. So yeah, and I was in band front, and we wore the real short things with the things underneath. And my dad loved it because he loved my legs. And then when we went to the long black skirts, he hated them. They're ugly.
They were minis and middies, right? Right?
There was maxi, midi, and minis. We had all.
And the pants were up over the waist.
And then
They had the button, had this pair that buttoned the
and the
waist
thin
button,
belts.
and the bell bottoms.
Yeah.
And
It
corduroy,
ran
too,
the
was
70s
really
was hard because you had all kinds of fashion in the 70s, like the maxis, the midi, maxi coats. Everybody had the long
Yep, I
coats.
had
They had to
those.
scrape the ground. You took your old pair of jeans and you cut the inner seam out and you sewed a piece of material
the
in them.
suede coats with the fake fur
Oh,
that was around the sleeve and
Yeah.
up through here.
yeah. But you had one of those, didn't
I
you?
know.
Well, the jeans. Were you talking about the pocketbooks? How you would
Well,
do-
no, you cut the
Oh, I
inner
remember we
seams
used to
out.
make jean pocketbooks.
Pocketbooks,
Yeah,
yes.
I remember them.
Yes, we did that
I never
too.
did it, but I remember them.
Yeah, but you would cut the inner seam out of your jeans, and you would get a piece of material and sew in the front and the back, and make a maxi skirt out
And
of
patches were popular. Patches on your jeans.
it. Oh yeah, the more patches, the better. The rip. They had a drag. They had a drag
Y'all
until they
rug
were
it
all.
at the bottom.
Yep, they had to be wet if it was raining
Hot,
out.
and boys' high top Converse.
You could go to Super Shoe on the Carlisle Pike when they were cheap. They had bins. It was a bin store. It wasn't like anything like it is now. It was a bin store, and for $5 you can get a pair of Converse.
High top boys
For-
sneakers.
yeah, for
they didn't make
going
them
to
for
school.
girls then. We had to wear the
Yeah,
boys.
you had to wear the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't have girls back then. Yeah, you're right. But you could. That's because we had to have them for gym class. So that's where I would go. Pay $5. And back then, $5 was a lot. Yeah, I paid $5 for these things. Yeah, that was good money. So, yeah,
Kids
Oh,
these days
gosh.
like attack another zero on there and then some.
and then some. Yeah, really. Gosh. Nope, it was fun. Gosh, memories keep coming, flooding back. Keep thinking of different things. Let me think. Donkey basketball. Remember donkey basketball at the
yes.
high school?
Yeah.
They had donkey basketball. That's where I.
Explain what
Donkey basketballs, they had donkeys, and it was usually the teachers and the coaches and stuff would have 2 different teams, and it was mostly for charity, and they would ride these donkeys.
Playing basketball.
And half the time the donkeys didn't want to cooperate, so they're trying to, because you had to be on the donkey to make a basket. And they would last for forever. But they were so funny and comical because you got to see your teachers in a different situation too, where they were more relaxed and human.
I remember Mr. Gruber being a lot like Mr. Chapman. At least with me, you could just walk in and talk to him. I
right.
would just drop in and talk to him. Actually,
Yeah.
I was just talking to him on Facebook about that recently, him and I.
I see him on there, but I don't ever friend him because I don't know if he'd remember me.
I was surprised he did me, and we talked about how I used to drop in and talk to him. And
Yeah, I mean, if I brought up the Avon
I think
Eagle
there's-
thing, he
I
might
think I saw in there he's going to try to come to the next
reunion.
reunion.
I'm definitely, because it's going to be 40. I ran into, back up. Went to Shaw Elementary School. For kindergarten in our day, we went 6 weeks in the summertime. And then we started first grade that September. And so I went from kindergarten to 5th grade in Shaw. I had Mr. Pletcher, my most favorite teacher in the whole wide world. Kids, after I went through Shaw, they'd get on my mom's bus. Who do you have for Mr. Pletcher? Because he was mean. He wasn't mean. I loved if Miranda would have been a boy, her name was going to be Trent. I loved that man that much. I was the only one in my family who had him for homeroom. But I had Mr. Dar for English. Everybody else had Mr. Dar.
Yeah. My
Mr.
brother
Dar
had him.
used to do the roller skating party. I mean, he was so much into his kids. He had the 6-foot paddle and all that other stuff. Well, he also had the world famous Shaw School kazoo band.
Oh yes, my brother told me about that.
And I wasn't in the kazoo band, but I was part of Shaw School.
Mm-hmm.
So he had this fundraiser thing, and we did a flash mob around Christmas time. And we did it with the kazoos. So he supplied he got this all. You should see that food court was just polluted with people. It's on Facebook.
Just recently,
It was just
my
over
brother
Christmas.
was
Me
telling
and
me about
Bonnie
it.
went. We did our kazoo thing and raised a lot of money for the Humane Society and hospice. And he was just a wonderful teacher. He's retired, but that was our big thing. We did I always wanted to do a flash mob, so I got to do one. Was it really a flash mob? No, we could have done it a little bit better because it wasn't quite like a flash mob because we were all like standing in the food court waiting. It's like, no, disperse. But it was fun. It only lasted a few minutes and then it was done. We're going to do it again. So, don't know when. But he's going to get another one. But there is a teacher that cared. And he still cares about his kids.
Yeah, I heard good things, but I know I
Yeah,
didn't.
you didn't have him.
I didn't
It was
go to
past,
Shaw. Yeah.
right?
I lived about 3 doors down
Yeah,
from Shaw,
you
but I
did.
never went there.
Yeah.
What other teachers would you say impacted your life?
Mr. Hoffman, the English
Oh
teacher.
my God, Mr.
Yeah.
Hoffman, yes. He was great. I loved Mr.
I
Hoffman.
did too. He always was a good listener. He was a good teacher. I mean,
Yes.
he just was a good teacher. He came across.
Yeah, he was relaxed. It's like, oh, don't sweat it, you know. Just and kids paid attention. They learned something.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Gruber, of course, he wasn't so much of a teacher.
He was assistant principal.
Yeah, but he was nice. He wasn't mean or hateful, or he actually listened. I'm
That's
trying
as
to
long as you
think.
stayed on his good side. I
Yeah.
understand.
We had she was a history. She had short hair, glasses. She kind of looked like a parakeet. She wasn't ugly, but she wore these big glasses because back then that was the style. These big
know.
glasses. I think she was a history teacher, and I can't think of her name. She's in the yearbook, of course, but
I had one of the home ec teachers too that I took a lot of culinary arts because I liked cooking. I think her name was Mrs. Martin. Not real sure about that. I always liked her.
yeah. I'm trying to think. We had office practice. Oh, there was one I never had, but everybody loved her. It was Mrs. Rupert. I think she had real short curly hair, and she was like
I know what you mean.
bohemian.
I never had her. Yeah.
Yeah, she was really bohemian, and I liked her look.
Mm-hmm.
I never got her. I think it was Scott. Is that one, Mrs. Scott? I just couldn't remember, because I didn't have her, but I liked her. She used to wear all this neat stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was short. Mr. Buck was English. He was cool. If you asked to go to the lavatory, he would say, "Do you need a pack of matches?" He was cool. He was all right. I was like, "No, I'm good." He was English. I had a creative writing class with him, and he actually, one of my stories was read out loud, and it was kind of embarrassing because it was descriptive writing. And back in those days, I was really into historical romances that were very, very slutty, and that's how I wrote this thing, and he chose mine to read, and then he asked me, could I keep this? And I said, well, sure, and I was like a dummy. I should have kept it. So, but I didn't. I let him keep it. I got 100% on that one. It was, I didn't get too many hundreds. But, yeah, I'm trying to think. There was a short one. He did history. He did.
can't remember.
Remember we
Mr.
had,
Kaba.
well, no,
He was
Not
short.
Mr. Kaba.
no, it wasn't Mr. Cobb. But he wore his hair
Who-
parted and it flipped up, and
There was one with Mr. Hess.
Hess, that was it.
I liked
remember
him
we had
He
a
did history.
yeah, because we had to break it down in our junior and senior year. We had like
We did the mini.
the
what-
Roaring Twenties.
you choose a subject each.
Yeah,
each
each semester. We had the
semester or
4 semesters back in those days. And I had him for the Roaring Twenties.
I had him for Roaring Twice too. That was a fun
Oh,
class.
he was fun. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had Mrs. Bay in 9th grade, and we did the Ukrainian eggs. That was fun.
Oh, I must have had her because I remember doing
Well,
those.
me and Debbie had her together.
Is she Russian?
She was, no.
Great.
Yeah,
Ukrainian,
yeah,
okay.
Ukrainian.
She was my homeroom teacher.
And me and Debbie had her for the same class because we didn't have the same last names. You didn't know we were sisters, and we'd cheat so bad because Debbie wasn't the best student, and she'd be across the way and she's going. We had a system, it's like, yes, no, yeah, true, false, yeah. I helped her out a lot. It was easy to cheat because she didn't know. She was clueless, that woman. So, but she was nice. I loved the Ukrainian eggs. I remember doing those, and that was a lot of fun.
Then we
Right.
used to, in her classes, we got to bring in food from other countries. We could cook
yeah,
international foods and stuff. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, brought in the foods. Yep, that was fun. And then it's still the same up there. The IMC at Cumberland Valley, they still call it the IMC. The kids go, "Why do they call it the IMC?" Because Bonnie works study hall up there, my sister.
Okay.
And she's like, it's always been called the IMC. They still have the pit. The librarians are still mean. You can't exit the IMC without signing out a book. I used to walk out of there with books all the time. But now you can't. An alarm
Yeah,
goes off.
Things have changed.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't keep the books. I brought them back, but I didn't go up there and sign out a book. I just walked out with it, brought it back. So, but that's what yep.
So what they do, build a new school around that? Still, it's there. I haven't been in since they redid the school.
I got lost when
I
it
just
took
remember
me-
everything used to be a series of circles on a couple floors, the way it used to be.
Yeah. No, it's all different now. I've only was up there once. I was on the new side where they tore the old 9th grade building down and stuff. But we have bought some of the bricks, and
Wow.
it's in the pathway because Jeffrey's playing football up there with
What would
Coach
you-
Chapman.
What would you say is recognizable? The only recognizable thing?
Well, there's two.
Okay.
The football field is still recognizable because we just drove up past there,
Yeah,
and
I
the
agree.
gymnasium, the dome.
Mhm.
Yeah, the dome is still there. I was glad to see when they did all the renovations, they kept the dome because I remember when they did the dome, and that was unique to our school, and no other school had that. I mean, Cedar Cliff but they had a planetarium, so that's why theirs was round. But they turned that into classrooms now. But yeah, the dome and the football field, I still recognize. The rest of it, I don't. It is.
Football games, we stand up on the hill.
Oh yeah. Well, we were in band. I was in band front in 9th grade.
You were in band, I was in band.
No, I was in band front in 9th grade, and so but we would make up excuses to have to
Go up on the hill.
And then after that, I'd go. I'd help teach all the newbies how to twirl a rifle, but I would never stay. I quit. But he would always call me up every year. Are you coming? Yeah, I'm coming. Teach all the new girls how to do the rifle. And I quit. I wanted to go to the games. I didn't want to have to perform and just sit there and watch. I wanted to go under the bleachers. I was dating Rick at that time, and I wanted to be under the bleachers. I didn't want to be
Oh, no, I
on
didn't
top
have a
of the bleachers.
boyfriend in high school.
Well, I just had Rick, and I only
Yeah.
had him for a few months. He went to East Penn, so. But yeah. Oh, remember 9th grade? Mr. Jones. Birds.
Ugh.
We had to know 100 birds. Oh, yes, I still think about Mr. Jones when I see birds. Yes.
Made us drink sumac berry lemonade or something.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. Thank you, Sue and Becky. I really appreciate you sharing your fond memories and. Okay.
gosh, I could probably remember more if I had.
You remember a lot more than I do.